yesterday when I booked this call, I'm literally I'm like trying to figure out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to structure this, what my offer is going to be, and like how to make this really awesome. And I'm just like so freaking in my head about it. And I'm just like, like October ended or September ended, and I'm like, October's coming up, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And it's like, gosh, I just need some like leadership and direction. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to book this call with Anthony.
Feeling
And then
lost, feeling
since then,
overwhelmed. Help.
yeah,
And
dude.
help.
But then since then, I spent like 3 hours just like deep diving on just like vision for this next end of the year and the quarter and month, and what I want to do for this content and this course and how I could set the offer. And so I have come up with my business plan. So I'm not coming to you with nothing. And I would like to run it by you now that I've spent a good part of the last 2 days building. So
Totally. I love to see it. So here, before we do that though, like just you figured this out for yourself, but it's something that I continually have to relearn. Like for me is that sometimes there's so many different balls in the air and there's so many pieces of like a product launch. It's like what you're doing, like there's a lot of pieces that you're trying to think through, and holding it all in your head, it can be very, very overwhelming. And what I find is that overwhelm typically stems from a lack of clarity of what should I do next? Like what's the big picture that I'm trying to build towards? And then what do I need to do next? And sometimes what happens on these product launches is that you get so zeroed in on one or the other, the macro or the micro, and you can't hold both inside your head simultaneously. Like I can't. I've just come to realize that either I'm looking big picture or I need to be looking right in front of me. But I need to give myself permission when I'm looking right in front of me, not to worry about the big picture and not even let it creep in. And when I'm working on the big picture, not even worry about what's that next step I'm going to take. Like you have to like turn those two parts of the brain off when you're doing one or the other. So, and it sounds like you kind of did that where you're like, okay, let's go macro. Let's figure out the business plan and get that. And then from there, it's okay, now what's the next steps?
Yep, it right on. And thankfully I was watching Cody Sanchez, and she made some really good content on, she paid $120,000 for her business coach. And here's what I learned, right? Like that's the video she made. Mm-hmm. And one of the things is just this one thing document.
Who's her coach?
And so I don't know. He's in the video.
I'm gonna take a look. But keep going.
Yeah.
The one thing document.
It's the one thing document. Sadly, she said you can get these documents in the video, and they're not. Like she didn't put a link, so I'm like, fuck. I left a comment, so we'll see.
Sanchez, what the hell?
I know, but anyways, I copied a lot of it, just made it. So,
is it one of her?
The one thing was just like I just did a brain dump because I literally was sitting there like, what is my one thing? And I'm just like, fuck, I don't know, like exactly what you said. And so I just literally made 2 pages worth of notes and stuff, and then I started organizing it, and just started to all come together after I did a brain dump. And then it made it very clear of like, okay, now I know what I need to focus on.
Oh, this is Jordan. Oh, this is funny. Yeah, okay. Jordan DiPietro is her coach. He's the president of Hampton, which is a group that like it's a like an entrepreneurs only group that a buddy Sam put together. And I was sitting next to Jordan at dinner when we were down in Austin racing rally cars. He's a good dude. I did not know he charges $120,000 for business coaching though, so good for him. Yeah,
there you go. I mean, that's the clickbait of the video. So who knows if that was all in one coach or what? But
yeah, it's probably a bunch of sessions. But okay, so walk me through what you got here.
So I did the brain dump, and here's the business plan. Here's what I have to offer, and then I'd love to hear your thoughts. So what I'm planning on doing is taking your advice. I checked out School and I did everything, but I plan on creating a digital course product on School for $99 a month subscription. What that gets people is my videos that I wrote the book on, right? That I'm waiting to get published on, but it's how to buy real estate, how to systemize real estate, and how to scale real estate. Those are really the 3 main courses. You get those for $99 a month, which is a bargain. But then what you also get is one day a week, I'll go live an hour for Q&A. So I'll be there to help the community. School also gamifies it, right? Yep. So it'll help with retention a little bit. And then I'll have like a guest speaker come on to the community every now and then. Like if Anthony Vicino wants to be on the community, right? Like that helps make the community a little sticky. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the
$120,000.
Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna need a lot of subscriptions. So that's kind of the main core offer, and then from there, the next step up is the group coaching cohort. So like every quarter, I'll do a cohort to help people with like implementation needs more. That will be a monthly mastermind call. You'll get a one-on-one blueprint call with me first, and so I will set up exactly what you need to crush your next goal. And it'll be a year long of calls with a one-on-one blueprint call at the beginning. And so then you'll get to be a part of more elite people that can afford to pay this and be around them. You'll meet your new partners. You can meet potential partners and potential investors, and then you'll also be crushing it with me as your guide. Like, you'll get a lot more access to me. That's really the step up. And then the last thing is, if you want one-on-one coaching, I offer it for $12,000 a year, and that gets you 26 calls with me.
Damn. Okay. Do you have this written out in a document somewhere that we can kind of look at together? I'll give you a screen share if you do.
It's not, let me screen share. It's not extremely organized, but I do have it.
No, that's okay.
Let me.
When it comes to like these multiple price points and everything, it gets helpful for me.
Yeah, let me.
It should be good.
Okay. So here's the offer structure. Basically, my kind of my funnel is like, I'll do a free live speech or in person or on a podcast to get people into this. But I'm just gonna delete that for now. So like, basically it's a subscription to the community.
Yep.
And then the community gets access to.
Okay. So one thing I would think about on the offer, or that first lowest tier, is how can we bring down the subscription cost to make it more of a no-brainer for somebody, but make it sticky for you. And what I mean by that is, right now, if they sign up, it's $99 a month. They get in there, they can get all the course material for free for that month, right? So theoretically, they could go download everything. They could blast through the course and then stop next month, and you only got $100, right? So you want to look at, like, how do we increase the lifetime value of a customer? Obviously, we want to make it sticky and keep them as long as possible. We want to increase the price if possible. So if we can, have it $99 and we get them, instead of only staying for 3 months, we get them to stay for 6 months, we've doubled that lifetime value, and that's awesome. At that price point, though, that might be hard to do, because once they've gone through the course and they've consumed that, what is their incentive for continuing? The value of the group is now just the community, right? Effectively, and then maybe some guest speakers every now and then. So yeah,
it's the live Q&A.
Okay. So what you could do is make this say $400 for the initiation fee, kind of like a gym. And that's and $400 is initiation fee in month 1. And then subscriptions dues start next month, and maybe it's $60 a month. And just quickly calculating this, $60 a month is $720 per year, plus the 400 is about $1,100, whereas the $99 a month is around $1,100, right? So really what you've done is you've front loaded a big chunk of that cash and saying, hey, $400 gets you these 3 courses, community access and all this, and then just $60 a month from this point forward gets you weekly calls or monthly calls or whatever the thing is. Now, if they leave at the end of month 1, that's okay, because you already got $400 out of them. That's 4 months in the other model. So your churn initially can be much higher, but you would make much more. And your buy-in and like the value proposition for them, because they'd be like, if they spend $400 to get in the door, they're more likely to spend $60 next month to keep it, rather than just $100 every month. It's at $100 every month, it's going to take a while for them to psychologically think, oh, now this is a sunk cost, I should keep paying it.
Yeah. Yep, I totally get that. And you like the $400 a month and then 60 rather than like, I know I did a boot camp and that was 500, right? And I got 11 people on the boot camp. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe
overall, I guess I can think of the pricing structure, but I get the overall point, which is, yeah, makes sense.
I would do it in some kind of, I don't know, 400, 500. It depends. It like either one can work. When you're coming to like real estate, one of the beauties of it is that people kind of expect to spend money, right? Like, because you can make so much money doing it. And so if you come in, the course is only $90. It's like, yeah, if this guy could really teach me how to make millions of dollars, why is he selling it for $90? There's just a perception of value thing there, even at the lowest tier. With that said, it's this weird push and pull between $90 and $99 a month. Seems like a lot, not much in the grand scheme of things for what you're teaching, but it seems like a lot for a subscription. Whereas if it's like, hey, 400 gets you the courses and everything, and then the subscription, that this $60 is something, it's for the community access ongoing and for the monthly stuff. And what you do is you kind of reframe it. So it's like, hey, the $400 or $500 gets you the courses, and the monthly subscriptions is getting you all the ongoing support.
Yep, that makes sense. I think like 60 is, I'm stuck on the numbers now. I'm like, I get the concept.
Yeah,
like,
don't get stuck on the numbers. Don't get stuck on the, if honestly, a number that would make really easy sense, I think in a lot of cases, like $50. 60 is nice because it's $2 a day. So you could be like, hey, for the price of a cup of coffee every day, you get access to multiple people who have experienced scaling tens of millions of dollars of real estate. And, you can phrase it like that. Whereas $99 is like for 3 cups of coffee a day. You're like, who the fuck is drinking 3 cups of coffee a day? It's just, it's only the difference. It's only a small difference, but like.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Well, that makes sense. And now it's just, how do I make it sticky enough to retain? Right? Retain within the community. Because this is something that's really easy. Like just walking this out, I really, I did like, as I scale this, how awesome this looks, as I'm sure you've done, because you have a shit ton of students already. So it's like on a subscription model, once you scale this, it's so levered, right? Totally. And it's evergreen.
Totally.
And so it's like,
communities are powerful.
How do I make it sticky enough? Yeah. How do I make it sticky enough to keep it, to retain subscribers?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really good question. And, I don't have the answer because it's going to be different for everybody, but like you could have different deal partnership incentives where it's like by staying in this, you get access to the this deal room in your market and you can find other partners, like whatever. Like there's ways that you can make it sticky. And so, but you generally want to do, you make it this, the higher the price on the front end, the stickier it becomes on the back end.
Okay. And then the lower, like, because in my opinion, the lower that subscription is, the stickier it is too.
Yeah, low. I mean, that will also make it a no-brainer for people, but then you start to attract lower quality people. And what really matters in a community like this, and you've seen this with Make It Happen and like Jake and Gino, is the quality of the people in the group dictate the overall perceived quality of the group. And so if you just are trying to maximize value by driving down the dollar price to get butts in the chairs, then I'm going to look around after 2 months and be like, I don't see any of my peers in here. Right? Like these are all Joe Schmoes who are kicking the tires, who have no real interest in, they want to feel like they're doing the thing, but they're not going to do anything. And so then you lose me. And in the grand scheme of things, who's the more valuable customer, right? The person who's never going to take action with the thing and therefore not going to be a great testimonial, and also is going to be an energy suck to work with, or people who are like higher value. And so that's where you don't want to race towards the bottom in a community. That's what I discovered with the Beyond the Apex community. I made that free. And I also gave people access, if you paid for, the HYPERFOCUS Masterclass or the capital raising machine, they all just went to the same community, and I let people in for free. And then after 6 months, I was like, I really diluted the quality of experience in here for the people who, for the higher quality people, right? And the way to think about this is that every room reverts to the average, like to the mean. Every room reverts to the mean. And it's easier for somebody to get pulled down than it is to get people pulled up. So if you have a room full of, tire kickers and a room and a couple of like badasses, what do you think is likely to happen? Do you think the tire kickers are going to suddenly become badasses, or are the badasses going to either leave because they recognize, like, if I'm the average of the 5 people I hang out with, they're not helping my average? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's great. It's like,
and that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I want to launch like the creator collective, is just being able to have a more curated experience for the community and the members, to be like, the people that are in here, they're high value and they're worth talking to. Every single one is, if you reached out and you're like, I want to hop on a Zoom call with this guy, you as the owner or the creator of the group knows, like, they're going to have a good conversation. It's not going to be like Wyatt the badass here sits down with the kid who's brand new. He's like 17, nothing wrong with that, but you're just in different places in life. And you go, oh, this was not a good use of my time. Right. And now that reflects poorly on the community as a whole.
Yeah. That very well said, as someone who's been through it.
Yeah. I lived it. Made that mistake.
And that's more fun too. I mean, just overall, like, it's the short-term sacrifice for the long term.
Yeah, dude, the other thing is, like, there's nothing stopping you on school from having a free group. You could have that free community and you could have the paid community. You can do both.
Yeah, I could do a free community with one of the modules. Right? And then be like, hey, subscribe, go over here to get more.
Yeah. And what you do there is you just keep the information, like, you give them the frameworks and the skeletons, but you don't fill in the details. And you don't help them with the implementation. It's like, hey, here's the blueprint. You take this and run with it. It's enough. But if you want help filling out the details and then help with the implementation, and the details is really the customization of it to you personally. Like, how do you apply this? Because what I would do is, like, you take these concepts of like how to buy real estate, you talk about it from a high level perspective, but then you don't customize it to the individual of like, okay, how do I apply this to your situation? For that, you go to the paid group. And if you want help with the implementation, where I will sit down and walk you through, like, these calls, for instance, like, you pay for that, but the information is free.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So I'm thinking of it kind of in a tiered approach. I guess I make a free one. I still need to figure out what I'm going to put in the free one, but I get what you're saying about just like the skeleton. Obviously, I know what I'm going to put in the paid one. And then the next step is I'll create a multifamily one. And that one will be more valuable, like, bar none. And what I could do is, with the existing students, I could give them free, like, the people that have chosen to pay, I can give them free membership to the multifamily one. Or should I not do that and make them pay for the multifamily
one? That's a really good question.
Maybe the ones I like.
Yeah, favoritism. That's a good question. I would make it paid still. I would make them pay to progress from one rank to the other rank. Because again, like, I think what you do is you if you want them to, if they want full access to the multifamily group, they pay into it. But because they're in the single family group, you can in your monthly calls with them start breaking down the things that you're teaching in the other classes or in the multifamily group. So you're like, oh, this framework, this is something that we use over here. Here it is from a high level. Again, it's like with the free group to the single family group, right? We're like, here's the concept. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but just know that this is the concept that we apply over here. And if you want help going deeper into that, but like, you guys don't need that right now where you're at with the single family. So I'm not going to teach you everything I know. I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know to be able to get the results you need. And then once you've gotten the results that you need over here and you're ready to make the jump over there, then we'll make that jump.
Yep. Makes a ton of sense. Okay. So we covered how to set the community up. Really the next question is like, do you like school? Because obviously I heard you switching over to it. I did research Circle, I researched school, I researched Kajabi, I researched Thinkific, and I picked school because of the community aspect and the gamifying aspect of it.
Yeah.
as well as it's like the most affordable for the most features. It just seemed like simple and fun.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, same thing. It's simple and it's straightforward, and it gives you everything you need in terms of being able to host the courses, being able to gamify, have the community in kind of like a Reddit or Facebook style front page, which I think is important. Then you also have the ability to schedule the different events in there, so the calendar is maintained in one place. I think that's super important, and something that I struggled with the capital raising machine is like, I don't have a place to host these event calls and the links to things. So that's very, very helpful. And then they also just integrated with their own payment system. I think it's cheaper than Stripe, maybe. I don't remember. That might be. I think
it is Stripe.
It might. Well, I know that they integrated with Stripe, but I thought they were also going to integrate their own payment system that was cheaper than Stripe, take less. But anyways, I
saw an article.
Yeah, but either way, it's like I think I'm stumbling over all my words. I think it just hits a lot of the points, like, and it's simple and there's no frills. And that's one of the things. It's not beautiful. It's not a beautiful platform, but it's effective. And I went with the beautiful platform for Mighty Networks, and it has just been such a headache. And so I would take the function over the form at this point. Because a lot of people use like a Facebook group these days still, right? Like, so it's not like style really matters.
So I guess the next question is like, can you actually set up subscriptions? Like, because the way I perceive it, and I'm sure there's got to be a way where like I can take a $400 payment and then it's $60 a month. Like,
yeah, you can definitely do that. You can definitely charge
how to do it.
An upfront subscription or a one-time fee and then a subscription after that. I don't know how to do it, but
yeah, I'm assuming you're going to be doing it, but maybe your assistant's doing it. But.
Yeah, so I got a guy. I'll connect you with him right now. Andrew Kirby. He will be very helpful.
Sweet.
On this.
You are the man.
Don't say that yet.
Well, after you do that.
That's a weird email. I don't know if that's right. Let me see here. Andrews.
Dude, when I first watched you in the capital raising machine, I was like absolutely blown away. I was like, dude, he is so good in front of the camera. Like, this is insane. He's like literally perfect. And then I went to shoot videos in like January and February this year for like making my own capital raising machine thing, right? And like my own active campaign, drip campaign. And I was like, it took me 50 or 60 takes to get like a 5-minute clip perfect. Just like Anthony Vicino, right? And even then I'm like not super proud of it, but I'm like, God, at least I got as best as I could that take. And then now, dude, I learned how to video edit, and I'm like, this is so fucking easy. Like, why did I think I had to be perfect? Like, oh my God. So like I'm using Descript now, and I learn. Have you ever used Descript?
I use
Descript.
I just learned. Yeah, Descript is amazing. It's my favorite because you can like at the end of it, you can easily edit the ums and the ahs like with a click of the button. And so a lot of those videos were one take, but most of them I record in Descript and then I have it cut out all the ums and ahs and then the weird sections, which there's not a ton of. But yeah, like if you screw up and you have to do it in one take, like good luck. It's hard.
Yeah, that's just what I was doing. I'm like, dude, this is like Anthony's just on another level. And now I realized I watched some videos. I'm like, oh, Descript, like this is easy. Like,
yeah, I think the watermark is even in those videos. With Descript.
Really?
I think so.
The free
yeah.
Version?
Yeah. At that time I was. I don't use. Our team has the paid version now, but Descript is awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Now,
so
if you're living your life trying to do things in one take, so I do the Amplified Impact podcast in one take, and usually it takes me 3, maybe 4 tries to get like the first minute 'Cause like always like getting into an episode is weird and awkward. Once you're past that minute, it's very easy. But doing things in one take is way harder than it needs to be. It's way harder.
Yeah. And then you edit it on Descriptive, so you take out the ums and ahs and stuff.
Not on that one. Now for that podcast, because I just try to keep it as raw and organic as possible. So I have my assistant just keep all that stuff in, just edit the front and the back to make sure it starts and ends at the right spot. But for training videos and stuff, yeah, cut the ums and ahs out. It's another click of the button.
Yeah. Okay.
That's funny.
Well, okay. So.
Well, dang it, man.
Yeah.
That means I like took a step down in your mind. Damn.
You're still up there, bro. Don't worry. You're just not perfect. You're just like smart.
How is he doing this?
Yeah. So okay. Last thing is, I just want to like kind of get your blessing on the offer structure. So the community subscription, and we're changing that really now. So it's going to be $400 and then $60 for the community. What they get with the community. Then it's like, okay, why would someone pay for the group coaching, and what comes with the group coaching? And so, like the group coaching program, I have it priced at $6,000, and then I have 12 months of one-on-one at $12,000. I don't know. I just put it there. Wow. And then the 12-month group coaching, that comes with a one-on-one blueprint call. Obviously, you get the live Q&A, which the rest of the community does. You get the access to the course community curriculum, like the rest of the community. The big ones is the one-on-one call and the monthly mastermind call, which is what that comes with. Mm-hmm. And then what they don't know is I'm going to surprise like the first groups with like quarterly check-in calls is my plan. It's not scalable, but just to like help drive the community. Yeah. But I don't know if I put that in there as part of it, or if I just do that,
I think you use that as a scarcity driver. So you can be like, first 15 signups get this bonus quarterly check-ins. And once they're gone, they're gone. I think that never hurts.
Like it. Do you think that's sticky enough to make, like, why would someone do the group coaching? Really, it's you get the mastermind at the end of the month, and then you get like direct access to a better group of people, or like you get direct access to like a closer knit group, and you get direct access to me for that.
Yeah, one thing I would think about putting in here too, because it's a year-long process. My fear is whenever you have you just see such an attrition rate, even within like a Jake and Gino, after only a couple months. People come in, they're rah, they go through the academy, they get through some modules, they do the coaching calls, and then they disappear after like 4 or 5 months. And that's not really what you want, in the sense of like, you want people to get the results and transform their lives, and that's the goal. So I would even put in here like a little bit of budget for like an accountability call, or I don't know how to word this, but somebody like hiring a VA or somebody on your team that pings people like once a week for accountability check-ins, not a call per se, but it's like every week they're getting a text message from the VA that's saying, hey, here were the 5 KPIs, or here are the 3 core movers that you said in our last group call that you were going to be working on, just checking in. How's this looking? Right. And it's like, hey, respond back to this, and we will log it and then discuss it at the group coaching call. Any questions, issues that you ran into this week, executing the things that we discussed last time. And then it's like at the beginning of maybe it's twice a week, where it's like at the beginning of the week, they ping them and they're like, hey, what are your key movers this week? What are you gonna accomplish? And then on Friday, it's like checking in. It's like, hey, what'd you do? And so it's almost like building in an accountability structure. And I feel like that would be super inexpensive, but highly impactful for retention.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant. And a VA could do it, which is great. And then it can be logged so that I can review it on the month, right?
Dude, you
Awesome.
don't even necessarily need a VA. You could automate it. You could just have an automated text message every week go out to everybody. And it's like, respond to this. And you let them know, like, hey, this is an automated thing. You can respond to it. It's going to get to me. But I'm going to text you every Monday. I expect you to tell me what your 3 key movers or your KPIs are this week. And then I'm going to text you on Friday. You're going to tell me how you did. And then any questions that came up during this period. And my VA is going to go through all those messages, and they're going to pull that information. They're going to put it into your personnel folder so we can unpack it in the future calls, and we just make sure that you're moving. Now, if you don't answer these text messages, you're going to get a phone call from me. And it's going to be like, what are you doing? You paid $6,000 to be in this program. Are you serious about getting the results or not? Because you're not taking the simplest action of just text messaging me what you're going to accomplish. Accountability is huge, right? And I'm here for that, but I'm not going to work harder for you than you're willing to work. I'm not going to work harder for your dreams than you're willing to work. So if you're not going to fully participate, now it's not the great time or whatever, then that's fine. Then, we'll take you off the email list or whatever it is, right? You start to put the pressure back on them. They're like, oh yeah, shit. I do want to get my money's worth.
Yeah, I love that. The only thing I don't like about it is the fact that the people that are doing it don't get my time. The people that are not doing it get my time.
Sure.
So it's like,
maybe it's not a phone call. Maybe it's just another automated text. So whenever you just set up an automation so that if they don't respond to the text by the end of the week, or they go 2 weeks without responding to something, it puts them it tags them and puts them into a new automation, which is the pissed off Wyatt automation, which is, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I see it. All right. Well, I like that. So that the accountability will add a ton to
and that's
coaching,
massive.
and that's
massive.
That's really the purpose of that group. Is I want that group to succeed. I want that group to have the implementation, and I will respond first to the group messages within the community during that live Q&A. Like students will get preference on. Like, do you think that's wise to do? Because I plan on just doing like 1 hour a week where I go live Q&A for the community, and I could just like respond to student questions first and then the rest of the subscribers.
Yep. You pretty much say students get first, and you bring them up, and it's like, hey, I won't just answer your questions, but like we'll do some one-on-one coaching, and you do it in a group type environment. Another thing that you might be able to add, I don't know what the pricing on this is, but my friend Jody has this, actually, it's like $100 a month. So this might not be like the best value for you yet. But it might be something to think about, where she goes and she creates an AI version of you, and she pretty much takes all the content that you've created and they create a coach AI for you, Coach Wyatt. And what it allows the students to do then is whenever they have questions, they can just go ask, like 24/7 around the clock. They can just go talk to the AI, and it'll answer the questions in your voice based off of the content that you've already created, so that it knows how you would probably answer the question. And so that's kind of cool too. I don't think you necessarily need that right yet, but I think this is like a year 2 thing. Like if you do get enough traction and momentum with this, to then start seeding those other features in, which take no extra effort from your side, but the perceived value is much higher.
That's incredible. Awesome. Well, okay. So what, like strategically wise, do you like how I have both of these with the subscription model and the group coaching model, and then basically like a one-on-one option? And what do you think I should drive people towards the most? Or do you think it's really important that there is these 3 levels, because each person is going to need a different level?
No, I think you want to look at it and say, what's the highest, like, what do you want? What's your highest value proposition here is probably the small group coaching. So I would come into it, and what I would do is I would do this almost like a first cohort, where you come in and you say, we're only taking 20 people in the first cohort. And hey, if it's not a good fit for you right now, timing wise, no problem. You can jump into this other thing. But, and this is what you can, I think for this price point, you're probably going to have to be doing some triage phone calls with people where you're hopping on and like doing a little bit of like an analysis, like where you at with this before they're willing to just, you know, drop 6,000 or 12,000 on it. And in that call, you can be like, hey, we're going to do the first cohort. Only 20 people are going to be in that for the first 3 months while we go through the first iteration of it. And then we'll open it up again. So if you want to get it in the price, you can be, the price is going to go up at that point. So maybe the first one is a little bit like discounted. Maybe it's only 5,000 instead of 6,000. And then if you get to that call and you're like, and if it's not a good fit right now, but you want to jump in later, you can jump into the community. But I don't think you lead with the community. I think you almost like have that in the back pocket when they're like, yeah, I just can't afford that right now. You're like, cool, you can get the content here. You can go at your own pace. It's going to take you more time because you got to figure this stuff out for yourself. You're not going to have the support of me to help personalize it and help implement it. But because you don't have the money, you have time. So you got to spend one or the other. And this is the one where you can spend the time. And then when you do get the money, now you can come and join the group, right? You can look at it like that. But I wouldn't throw all three as the option. I would really try to focus it in and be like, let's fill the cohort first, or the group coaching, get it to the point where you're like, sweet, this is running. And then start backfilling the other things.
Okay, that makes sense. The only other thing is like, yeah, that $6,000 price point is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be challenging, but like, I can just see that one being the tough one. Cause what I did is I did that Facebook post, right? And then I had people come in and I had like 8 leads. I responded to all of them and I got better with my messaging as I went. But then a lot of it was like, hey, I created this $2,500 gets you a 12-week cohort. And I had 2 people that verbally has said like, I'm very interested, but haven't committed yet. And then everyone else is just kind of like, oh, okay, thanks. Like, or has kind of ghosted me from there. So I think the price tag is really like, I need to do a discovery call. Like you said,
it's a big price tag to drop on people if you don't have massive brand recognition. It's easy to ask for 6,000 when you're like, oh, I know Wyatt's like all over the place and he's probably swimming in more opportunity they can do anything with. So it's hard for you, but you might be able to do more like pricing programs, right? If you think about $6,000 is what, $450 a month. So you could be like, we could break this into $450 a month. You could break it into $2,000 for 3 months, having those options. But I think when you're doing those calls with people, that's really the opportunity to like antagonize the pain, see where they're at, get them to start projecting the value instead of just saying, here's the value of the thing. Like, here's the program, right? So let's say you do your post and you're like, hey, I'm taking on 5 new clients to work with me on this new program. It's going to help you buy your first piece of real estate, scale it, and systematize it. Who's interested, right? This guy reaches out. You're like, okay, so tell me where you at. You're like, I got 5 units. Cool. How's that going? What's holding you back? What's the number one thing holding you back from making the jump to 10 units? Or, hey, what's your goal? I want to be at 20 units by the end of the year. Okay. What are the 3 things that are stopping you from getting there? So yeah, let's pull this up and look. What do you got?
Yeah, let me go to like here. Maybe.
Internet's slow.
It was a year ago today, we refied on a property. Here we go. So it's funny. She offered on a wholesale house back when I was wholesaling in like 21. Oh, and it's funny. A lot of some of my buyers who I used to wholesale things to have seen me just kind of go like this. And another student, like another one that I'm very confident is going to do it. He bought from me. Like, funny. When I wholesaled. So interesting.
I mean, maybe that's the first place to go back to, is like, those are going to be the hot leads, people that you already know are in the industry and looking to keep growing.
Yeah. Okay. So basically interested in your product.
Yep. And what did you say? If you're interested in joining, I
said
questions. Oh, you sent over a document maybe, or?
No, I sent a long message and then I deleted it that had my number. Okay. This is a bad one. Hang on. Let me find another one. Here, this is one that like this one didn't go that well, but I started doing more of consulting, like you said. Like, Wyatt, share the details of your course.
Yeah. So
investors.
this one was always a low quality lead. Just generally, I find when people don't like write out the entire that's a funny phrase. Is that Cody?
That was official Elliot. You know this guy?
I don't know who that is. I thought that was Cody.
He's like a sales trainer that just gets in people's face.
Yeah. I don't follow him.
Yeah.
His shorts are always too short and his pants are too tight for my. I can't handle that much muscle. Fair. It's too much muscle. Okay, pull him open.
That's funny. Oh, by the way, this is I'm working with this guy that posted your video.
Oh, funny. I can't vouch for him. I haven't worked with him. He just did the video and I was like, oh, cool. And he keeps hounding me.
He lives in Iraq.
Yeah, he keeps hounding me.
He lives in Iraq.
Like, stop hounding me, bud. I was like, I put you on my feed to help you. Don't make me regret that.
Yeah.
Okay, so saw your post about the book. I started listening. I love my job. It's not providing the income I want. Have you ever thought about mentoring people before in real estate? Dude, that's awesome. I totally feel that. Extra income. When you asked, because I started mentoring people 6 months ago. Do individual coaching, it's really expensive, and a more affordable group coaching 12. Yeah. Yes. One new property, consider houses. So maybe you work on that earlier. That's this. Wow, that's messy. So you said you do a 12-week group. This is good. This is good so far. Okay, so when people start asking questions like that of like, how much cash do I need up front and like all that stuff, it starts to make you go, I don't know if this person is like financially in a position to be able to afford this yet. And this is one of the issues that you will run into with a high ticket offer in real estate space, where you're going to get a lot of people who like the idea of making big money and all this stuff, but they're coming from a position where they don't have a lot of money yet. And so you have this very, very valuable thing to teach them, but they can't really afford you to teach it to them. Right. It's not, so it's kind of like the people who can afford it in a lot of cases already know the stuff. Like they're already doing something that's enabling them to make the money that would necessitate them doing stuff. So,
interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested in like that. Send me a link and I'll think about it. Okay. So you kind of just dumped him here with stuff. Okay.
Yeah. And then basically he's like, yeah, I'm interested.
Kicks off. And then he ghosted after this.
And then he's like, and then I was like, sound good. The next group kicks off November 1st. Like, and I put the group link and he's like, cool, I'll check out the program, let you know if I have any questions. Nothing from there. That was Sunday. So a couple days ago. Yeah.
I think, okay, so this is a positioning thing. I think what you could do here in a situation like this, when people get to the point of asking for the price and like more details about the course, I think you can escalate at that point and take them to a phone call and be like, listen, like, I'm very selective with who I work with. I want to make sure that you're the right person that, I can actually ensure results. And I don't want to waste your time and my time. If it turns out you're not a good fit, I don't want to get you all hyped up and excited to join the group and all this stuff. If it turns out it's not going to be a good fit. So let's just hop on a quick 15-minute call. Let's get to know each other. Look, I got a couple questions to walk through. There's no sales pitch at the end or anything like that. I'll give you all the info if it's a good fit. What do you think? And now it's a positioning. They almost have to prove themselves to you to get in the door. Now on the call, you can start walking through, and it's not just about laying out the price. It's never just about the price. It's about the value, the perceived value. And if you don't frame it as such, then they're just going to look at the number and go, ooh. And so if you say it's $2,500 for the group, then they go, oh, that's $2,500. But if you're like, listen, what we're going to work on is all the stuff that literally within a 6-month period of time allowed me to increase my income from $75,000 a year to $200,000. It's $130,000 in 6 months, or I don't know what you're saying. I'm just kind of talking right now.
Right. Yep.
And so that value, like that's what I'm going to be teaching you how to do. And so it's going to be an investment, and it's going to be a big investment because the value and the skill that you're going to learn and your ability to go and make money with that is going to be extraordinary. And my goal is only to partner with students who I can ensure are going to take the information and apply it and get the results. That's my number one goal. And so the price is $2,500. And in the grand scheme of things, that's going to be a drop in the bucket, because my goal for you is within the first 6 to 9 months that we've paid for that and then 10x that, right? And so now it's positioning it against something else. And you know, when somebody starts asking questions about like how much do I have to have in reserve and all this stuff, like they're already going to be kind of price sensitive. And so you need to then help them. For you guys like you and I, Wyatt, like we look at big ticket items and we don't blink at it, because like, especially when it comes to coaching and trainings, because we're like, listen, if I can just walk away with like one thing that I can implement in my business that could potentially, you know, increase my performance by just 10%, it will be worth whatever price over the next 10 years. Right. It doesn't matter. Right. And so you almost need to help them become that type of person too, by helping them frame. You're like, listen, like the things we're going to teach you are going to like massively increase your earning potential. You're going to be able to go and apply and get all this real estate. But here's the thing is like, it's expensive. And when I tell most people the price, most people aren't willing to pay it because they don't have the right mindset for investing into themselves, investing in their skills, and knowing that those are the most important investments to make because they pay compounding interest for the rest of their life. So most people out there, they see the price and they go, that's not worth it for me. And that's okay. Those aren't the people that I work with. I work with the people who understand that time is their most valuable asset, and that they don't have time to waste. They need the information. They need to apply it. They need to know it's going to work. And that's what this program is designed for. And so if you're one of those people, which I think you are, because you reached out, you hopped on this call, you showed me that you're the type of person who takes action, who understands that you don't just sit around and like hope things change, that you actually have to take action and change them for yourself. And so I think you would be a good fit. The price is $2,500. We can break it into 3 payments. Are you in or out?
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, well, I'm in. Put it that way.
I'll send over my check. No, you send me over the checkbook. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, perfect. Well, my biggest takeaway is I need to hop on a call sooner and then frame it, and basically position myself. And it's always a good fit. Like, are we a good fit? Because we're keeping this a tight-knit community. Because what we don't want is a lot of bottom feeders that don't take action. Like, the people in this community are going to be awesome.
Yep.
Are awesome.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And when you do that, then the other thing too is on that call, you really want to play up the fact that it's expensive. And but then, because you want their imagination to be kind of running wild, but they don't really know like what's expensive. That $5,000 to $10,000. Like, the longer you talk and the longer you like explain the value proposition, you're like, listen, this helped me make $130,000. Now they're like, oh shit, 130? Are you gonna charge me 100,000 for this? And then you keep talking, you're like, listen, like you just keep framing it and like, maybe it's 50,000, maybe it's 20,000. So when you finally say 2,000 or 6,000, they're like, oh, that's actually less than I was thinking. But you need to like, you need to anchor it high in their minds first, which is why something like, I use this to make 130,000. That's a number. Now we're talking in that range. It's like, hey, listen, if I taught you how to make $130,000 in the next 6 months, would that be worth $100,000 to you? Yeah. Right. Like, it's a no-brainer. Would you talk net worth?
Like, would you say like, hey, I use these to build a net worth of over $2 million in less than 6 years? Like, would you say something like that?
Yeah, find whatever metric is the most compelling. Frame it in the most compelling way, whatever that looks like.
Okay. I mean, another one would be like one of the things I did on the multifamily coaching program was I said, I spent $40,000 a year on education and I made it back 6 months later on a $42,000 acquisition fee. Like, so I think that helped.
Yeah, you can do it that way. You're like, listen, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching to get this information. And then I spent a couple other $100,000 actually applying it in the real world and like paying my tuition at the School of Hard Knocks. And I just put it all together so that you don't have to pay that ridiculously high price. For you, it's only $3,000.
Yeah.
Right. So now $3,000 isn't a lot. Now the other thing is the ridiculously high price, and $3,000 is nothing.
Yeah.
Because again, like, it's all about the framing and understanding that, like, you and I, we get it that like 3,000 in the grand scheme of things is a drop in the bucket, especially when it comes to teaching high value skills. Because we know, like, if you actually take what we talk about and apply it, it is worth so much more than the 3,000 or the 6,000 or the 20,000.
Yes.
Right? We know
Yes.
that, but most people don't think that way. And so you really have to help them.
Got it. Okay.
The other way, if your net worth improved by 2 million, it was that 6 years, 2 million in 6 years.
Yep.
Then another way of saying that is like every
literally
year,
broke college kid. Yeah.
You can say, like, yeah, from broke to every single year for 6 years, my net worth increased by $300,000. So, like, if I could teach you how to increase your net worth this year by $300,000, that would probably be worth $100,000, right? Because that'd be a 3-to-1 return on your investment. Awesome. But I'm not going to charge that. It's only $3,000. It's nowhere near that. It's nothing crazy like that. It's only $3,000. And for that price, it's 100x. I'm going to teach you how to 100x your net worth over the next year. And so, and then you're like, it's just a no-brainer, which is why, like, then you can start getting into things like, it's just a no-brainer, which is why we usually have a wait list on this, which is usually why we cap this. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, I want to be able to guarantee, like, I want to be able to work with the students and not grow so big that I can't ensure that you actually get the results. And so we do have to send people away.
Beautiful.